Operating. What up, gamers? It's me, What, and this is Sweaty Boys episode 1. I'm sweating right now. I spent 2 hours cleaning the carpet, and now we're gonna do the amazing digital circus theory slideshow. Whoopee! And so, what's my theory? I'm gonna call my theory no real world theory. Here's the big conclusion of my theory first before we get into it. None of the characters were ever in real life. They've always just been, characters. Pomni, Gangle, they've never been in the real world. They're just characters for this show, and there's no way for them to escape. That's my theory. And Kane too. They're all like that. So let's go over some of the guys. We have Kane. He's the host, and he's a wacky boy. Those are some of his characteristics. He sticks to them pretty well. The bubble, you can pop it, but it's also kind of an ass. I got the sharp teeth, so that's funny characteristics. Jax is the funny one, and is also not doing well. The Kinger is the unstable one, and is quite funny with his antics. Zooble, and the dead ones, Ribbit, and they're dead. That's most of what we know about them. They're abstracted. They've been abstracted for a while. It's a big tragedy. Ragatha, the nice and sort of insecure, kind of feels like everybody hates her. And Gangle had a job. And now we have Pomni, one of the big main mega characters, and her unique characteristic is that she's the new one. She just showed up into this whole wacky world, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And that's her special characteristic. So all of these characters have their own little wacky characteristics that they follow by. I think that's pretty well established in the show. And none of them remember the real world. None of them know their names. They all forgot. And none of them have, escaped yet, except maybe Ribbit and Pablo. I don't know. I don't know what his name is. And none of them remember the real world, and none of them get out. Everybody's kind of given up on getting out. Now here's something interesting. Abstracting. Whoa, it's very interesting. There's a ton of very interesting visuals with this. I really like it. I watched I watched the beach episode while high with my brother. I was very high, and then I watched that. Me and him, we just looked at each other, like when that fucking abstracting scene started, we looked at each other like, we were flabbergasted. It was beautiful, and it was horrifying. So here's one of the guys that's been abstracted a while. He's turned into this big eyeball monster. He's in the eyeball tentacle land to keep everybody else safe. So when you get abstracted, you get changed a lot. Your form gets all wacky and wobbly, and you can't really communicate with everybody. It's kind of assumed that you're basically dead. And I don't know if that's a reasonable assumption. Why is this slide just empty? Okay, whatever. So we have this, which is not necessarily abstracting, but Pomni gets out of the exit, and you can see this environment. I'd call that environment pretty abstract. I'd say that this is a pretty abstract looking world. It's pretty wacky. And then I was calling him King. Fuck, what's his name? Kaner is like, no, we gotta get Pomni back in. The question of Kane's motivations in the show, like, is Kane malicious towards everybody? Is he trying to piss everybody off and make everybody miserable? What is his job? So to speak. I mean, it's not like he's getting paid for it, but why is he doing this? I think some people say that Kane's job, his motivation is that he doesn't want to be left alone. So this cast of characters, this goofy cast of characters has been brought in, and if they all abstract and go away, he's going to be very lonely, he's going to be very go insane, go insano style. It's like Am from the I have no mouth and I must scream. He has a big old mouth and he can scream, but Daisy, there's a lot of links between that and the blah blah blah. I think it is a good theory that Kane's idea is to keep everybody around so he doesn't get alone. But what is the abstract stuff? You know, what is it made of? You might say it's not made of anything, it's just some shit over there. But there's a lot of it. There is a lot of this abstract territory. Like if you had a map, I guess, somehow if you mapped the amazing digital circus, you'd probably have this little dot that is the actual circus and then like all the adventures. And then you would have this vast expanse of this abstract area just going on to infinity. I guess I'll skip over this. So we have Jax when he abstract. God, that's really compressed. But Jax is abstracted. He's going through this weird fractal area, and at a certain point, the fractals have Ribbit's face and Jax's face. I reckon that rather than just being complete nonsense, these abstraction lands are kind of a factory. A factory for what? A factory for characters to be made. And there's the guy I don't know. The guy I don't know his name. Man, it's not. Yeah. There he is. Yeah, there he is. I don't know his name. But all of these areas are a factory that generates more and more characters to go in the show to be entertaining. That's my really wacky theory. I'm probably wrong, but I think that could be true because we see these characters in the abstracted areas. The character gets shown here. And I think there's a big parallel between that and this mechanism in geology. So the continental crusts, subduct and then they get melted and they get put back up. Think about this. We mine bird shit. Ew, stinky. We mine bird shit because there's a lot of phosphorus and nitrogen in them. There's a lot of good nutrients in them. And if the Earth didn't have... So the Earth's environment was doing better without humans. So even without us, a lot of these resources that were very essential for life, like phosphorus and nitrogen are very needed, are just getting turned into rocks basically over time. There has to be some mechanism to recycle those materials that has made Earth significantly more habitable in the long term. And that mechanism is over hundreds of millions of years. All of the rocks a lot of the rocks get pushed down into the ground and melted, and then they come back up as volcanoes, and those nutrients are redispersed into the environment. So the Earth recycles stuff. I think it's similar here. I think maybe if everybody was fine, there was no abstracting, no, let's say the show went on for 700 million episodes, it would get really boring after a while and people would stop watching. People would stop watching the show. But this abstraction process recycles characters, and maybe Jax gets abstracted, and then, at some point very far in the future after that, he comes back in some form. He is returned to the digital circus as a completely different character. He's been completely changed, and he has new, wacky, entertaining features. And that happens in this abstract land. Now, the abstract land. Now, Kane has done some fuck shit, okay? He has done some bad... He's kind of an asshole sometimes. He's like, Oh, you thought you were gonna escape? No, it was just another adventure, you fucking losers. blows up that puppet guy. And you could say that means he's just malicious. He's just kind of being a dick, but I don't think that's true because when Jax gets all mad, he goes. When Jax gets mad at Kane genuinely looks confused. Like, oh, you're actually upset, and he fucking leaves like a minute later. He does not want to deal with that. Kane is just really bad at understanding emotions. And I think that is associated with why he's the... I think that goes along with why he's the, like, ringleader. He's the guy who puts everybody on these adventures. It's entertaining to see all of these characters put in these situations that they don't necessarily want to be in. They're just getting thrown around to these wacky scenarios, and we see all of these very interesting psychological developments because they're not in a great environment. And that's very interesting to see, and it keeps us watching. And Kane's lack of emotional intelligence allows him to do that shit to people, to harm people, while not really being malicious. He's just kind of dumb. He doesn't understand what he's doing. So I think Kane is among us. Kane is among the cast of the characters. He's just another one of the characters. He has his own wacky features and whatnot. And his job is to limit how quickly people will abstract. His purpose in the show, in the grand scheme of the show, is to limit how quickly people will go from, okay, they've unabstracted and now they're a character in the world, to they go insane again and they abstract. He's like, okay, I'm going to give these people some stimulation, but I'm also going to make them kind of miserable. So they're going to last for a couple years or however long the average character here lasts. And that's long enough for our viewers to get attached, but not so long that they get bored. Here, and going back to the abstract land, this is a screenshot from Elaine Gets Adopted, another video that Gooseworks made like years ago, way before the Amazing Digital Circus was made, and very similar things are going on here. They look very sorry for the epilepsy, but very similar things are going on here. You get the eyes, and they're all colorful, and they're on the black sections. I think that implies that these areas are also, to some extent, part of the Amazing Digital Circus. This isn't just like a refuse area. This is a place that is also engineered to create intrigue in the viewer. We're supposed to be interested in what's going on here. This isn't just supposed to be like a prison. It's supposed to be another interesting room that we can think about and keep us hooked. And, the Jax and the... so yeah, it's a self-contained system. My theory is the entire Amazing Digital Circus is all this self-contained system where the characters go insane, and then in the insane abstraction land, they get reformed into another character, which is interesting to watch, and everybody is happy, and we're all happy because we can watch all these interesting characters. Well, the last episode is going to be live in like an hour, so let's see if I'm wrong.